For any large organization, we're talking hospitals, universities, big multi-location brands, that facility refresh cycle can feel like you're just stuck on a hamster wheel of cost and disruption. But what if you could flip that script? What if you could turn that recurring expense into a powerful strategic asset? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down right now.
So let's start with the one question that every facility and brand leader really needs to ask themselves. Is the way you're refreshing your spaces right now just another line item expense? A cost you just have to eat every few years? Or is it a real investment that's actually adding long-term value? Seriously, how you answer that changes everything about your approach. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into the frustrations of the old traditional refresh cycle. Then, I'll introduce you to a new way to measure success, a performance scorecard. After that, we'll get into the direct-to-wall advantage. And finally, we'll wrap up by giving you a scalable branding playbook you can literally start using tomorrow. Okay, let's dive into a pain point that I'm sure is pretty familiar, the crazy high cost of constant disruption that comes with the old ways of branding. And I'm not just talking about the price on the invoice. I'm talking about all those hidden costs, the downtime, the endless maintenance, and the inconsistent results.
We've all seen this, right? The old way in action. It's the vinyl and wallpaper that, let's be honest, always seems to fail. You get seams that get grimy, bubbles that appear out of nowhere, and corners that just start peeling away. This isn't just a cosmetic issue, it's the investment itself failing, which means more maintenance and a way shorter lifespan. The new way, though? It's all about something that feels like it's part of the building itself. Seamless, integrated, and built to last.
So, how do we actually get to that new way? It starts with a shift in our thinking. We need to stop judging things just on how they look the day they're installed and start using a new performance scorecard, one that's all about measurable, long-term results. This is how the real strategic leaders are making their decisions.
And this right here, this is basically the expert's checklist. These are the questions you should be asking for any branding solution. How fast and predictable is the installation? Can you actually scrub it clean without damaging it? Does it look like it's part of the architecture with no ugly seams? And here's a big one. Can you roll it out consistently across 10, 20, 100 sites? This scorecard is what separates a quick fix from a real long-term asset.
And you know what? When you actually measure your options against that scorecard, a clear winner just pulls ahead of the pack every time. It's what we call the direct-to-wall advantage. And this isn't just another product. It's a totally different and frankly superior approach for any large-scale organization. The process itself is just brilliant and so simple. First, there's a little bit of wall prep, but it's minimal. Then technicians bring in specialized printers and put your high-res graphics directly onto the wall surface. Doesn't matter if it's drywall, brick, or even those tough cinder blocks. But here's the kicker. Most walls are completely done in under 5 hours. Think about that. It can happen overnight, with no construction mess, no smelly adhesives.
And this table just spells out the long-term value perfectly. I mean, look at this. With vinyl, you're constantly on the lookout for peeling seams and adhesive failures. With direct-to-wall, those entire categories of maintenance, they just vanish, gone. And if a section gets damaged, you just paint over it or do a quick reprint. No more ripping stuff off the wall and damaging the drywall underneath. That is a massive win for your budget and your facilities team.
Okay, so let's bring this all down to earth. In this last section, we're going to turn this technology into an actual strategic playbook with real-world examples. We're giving you a clear path forward so you can start putting this to work in your own organization.
Take a hospital, for instance. What's their top priority? Hygiene and safety. They absolutely need surfaces that are super easy to clean and have zero seams where bacteria can hide. With this technology, they can install critical wayfinding and graphics overnight with absolutely no disruption to patient care. It's a solution that gets how healthcare has to operate.
Or let's talk about a university campus. You know those long corridors with the painted concrete block walls? They can be so challenging to brand. Well, direct-to-wall printing can transform them with incredible photo-quality images. And maybe the best part for a campus that's always evolving? When it's time for a change in a few years, you just paint right over it. No demo, no waste. It's that simple.
And for all you corporate and retail brands with tons of locations, you know that consistency is king. Printing on-site completely eliminates the logistical nightmare of shipping huge, fragile panels and just praying they show up in one piece. This guarantees that your brand colors and quality are picture-perfect and identical at every single location, which is a huge relief for brand and procurement leaders.
So here it is. This is your playbook. These are the 5 things you should be demanding for your next branding project. Number 1, installation in under 5 hours. 2, it has to work on all your surfaces, drywall, CMU, brick, you name it. 3, demand seamless, photorealistic quality. 4, make sure the finish is paint over ready for easy updates. And number 5, always prioritize on-site fabrication to slash your risk. This isn't just a wish list, folks. This is the new standard for strategic facility branding.
I'll just leave you with this one last thought. What if your next big brand refresh could happen with no demolition, no dust, no shipping headaches, and no shutting down your operations? What if it required zero construction? Because that's not a fantasy anymore. That's the new standard you can and should expect.